The bell above the door jingled as two uniformed officers stepped into Rosie's diner, their boots heavy against the faded checkered tile. Heads turned briefly, but most eyes quickly settled on the lone man seated in the back corner. He was black, unshaven, and dressed in layers of worn clothing, a military patch barely visible beneath his frayed jacket sleeve. He hunched over a half-empty cup of coffee, silent and still. That is, until one of the officers snorted and elbowed his partner. "Looks like we've got ourselves a loiterer," he muttered, his fingers casually brushing the grip of his holstered pistol. The man didn't move. Instead, he calmly picked up his phone and dialed. "You're making a mistake," he said, speaking softly into the receiver. The officers laughed loud enough for the entire diner to hear, but within 24 hours their laughter would vanish, along with their badges, their careers, their reputations, their illusions of power, gone. Because they hadn't just picked a random homeless man, they'd targeted a ghost. Samuel Knox had mastered the art of disappearing. After serving 3 tours overseas, first in Iraq, then 2 in Syria, he was recruited into a covert unit that officially didn't exist. When he returned stateside, the country he'd bled for tossed him into a paper maze of denial, dishonor, and silence. No pension, no benefits, just a thank you and a closed door. He found refuge in alleyways and abandoned buildings, but he never let go of the skills that had kept him alive in combat, and he never forgot the names or faces of the men he once reported to. "You got ID, sir?" one of the officers asked mockingly as they approached his booth. Samuel didn't look up. "Just finishing my coffee, officers." "Yeah, well, we've had calls. People uncomfortable. Homeless types causing trouble." One officer clamped a hand on his shoulder. "Time to move along." Samuel's jaw tightened. This scene had played out more times than he could count, but today he was ready. He slid his phone across the table with one hand and held the other still. "Last chance," he said. "Walk away." The officers laughed again. "Or what? You gonna call your army of tent people?" Samuel pressed send. The call connected instantly. "Knox?" came the voice on the other end, deep, commanding. "I need a favor, General," Samuel said, his voice steady, eyes locked with the officers. The diner's television blinked and changed to breaking news. X-Men get into. Pentagon launches formal investigation into regional police department following anonymous whistleblower tip. Sources confirm involvement of ex-military intelligence assets. At that moment, the officers' radios burst to life. "All units, stand down on Knox. Repeat, stand down. Leave location immediately." One of the officers stiffened. "What the hell?" Samuel leaned forward. "Told you. Mistake." For a brief second, fear flickered in the younger cop's eyes. Then it turned to defiance. "You think some call changes anything?" he snapped, reaching for his handcuffs. Samuel's voice dropped low. "That call was a courtesy. The next one? That'll get your obituary printed before dinner." Sirens screamed outside. But these weren't city squad cars. Black SUVs with tinted windows rolled up to the curb. Doors flung open. Men and women in suits stormed the diner with badges raised. "Officers," one of them barked, "you are hereby relieved of duty. Turn over your weapons." The stunned officers hesitated. Then the cuffs went on, only this time they weren't on Samuel. As the federal agents led them away, Samuel stepped out into the morning light. The sky was still gray, but he breathed deep, like a man surfacing from water. His phone buzzed. "You coming home, soldier?" the general asked. Samuel glanced down at his left arm, at the tattoo of a soaring eagle just beneath a faded flag, then up at the news vans swarming outside the precinct. "Not yet, sir," he said. "Still more work to do." And with that, he melted back into the city. No press conference, no fanfare, just another shadow watching from the margins, waiting to right another wrong. Another ghost with unfinished business.